a human engineer inherits the galaxy's massive warship and freezes the moment he steps on board. He spent his days repairing small spacecraft in a modest orbital station at the edge of a quiet star system. The work was steady, predictable, and safe, the kind of life he had grown used to after years of studying machines, engines, and circuits. He loved the hum of a reactor, the precise click of a control panel, and the smooth whirring of servos adjusting a ship's systems. But the idea of commanding a massive warship, a machine of unimaginable scale and power, had never even crossed his mind. It was a morning like any other when the message arrived. A soft chime echoed through his cramped cabin as his communicator lit up. At first, Alex ignored it, expecting another routine supply request or a call from the station manager. But the display showed something unusual, a legal transmission from the Galactic Heritage Council. The words on the screen were formal, precise, and utterly confusing. Alex Morgan, inheritance confirmed, Galactic-class warship. Alex read the message again, thinking his eyes were playing tricks on him. He rubbed his temples, staring at the holographic text. "No, this can't be real," he muttered to himself. He had heard of such inheritances before. Legendary ships passed down through generations, vessels that had fought wars, explored galaxies, or carried entire civilizations across star systems. But such things belonged to heroes, to the great and powerful, not to someone like him, a simple engineer. Yet the documents were clear. His distant relative, someone Alex had never met, had left him the command of a massive warship. It wasn't just a ship. It was an inheritance that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. Alex's first reaction was disbelief. He showed the message to his colleague Mara, another engineer who had worked with him for years. Her eyes widened as she read the legal documents. "Alex, this is huge," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "This isn't just a ship, this is a legend." "I know," Alex said, though his voice lacked excitement. Confusion and anxiety roiled inside him. "But why me? I've never even flown anything bigger than a shuttle." Mara shrugged. "Maybe it was fate, or maybe your ancestor saw something in you. You never know." Even as he listened, Alex felt a strange pull toward the inheritance. A part of him, the part that had always dreamed of building and understanding things beyond ordinary human limits, stirred awake. The idea of exploring the ship, of seeing its engines and control systems, of walking through its endless corridors, it was irresistible. After days of preparation, Alex set course for the star system where the warship had been anchored for decades. The journey was long, and during it he thought constantly about what awaited him. Images of enormous engines, towering control consoles, and endless hallways filled his mind. He imagined the history embedded in the ship's hull. Battles fought, systems explored, civilizations protected or destroyed. The weight of it pressed on him, yet he felt compelled to face it. When he finally arrived, the warship was more magnificent than anything he had ever seen. Even from orbit, it was overwhelming. Its hull stretched for kilometers, shining with a metallic glow that caught the distant light of the system's star. Massive turrets lined its sides, and the silhouette of engines hinted at power that could move the ship faster than any human-engineered vessel he had ever worked on. Small fighter ships flitted around it like insects, emphasizing its enormous scale. Alex felt his knees weaken. He had expected a ship, yes, but nothing could have prepared him for this. He stared at the docking bay, trying to steady his breath. The ramp descended slowly, inviting him in, and his mind screamed both warning and invitation. "Alex," he said softly, almost to himself, "you've got this, you're an engineer, you understand machines, you can figure this out." He stepped onto the docking ramp, and everything seemed to change. The sound of his boots echoed in the vast emptiness of the entry chamber. The ramp felt small beneath him, and yet it led into corridors so immense that his eyes could hardly take them in. Lights flickered along the walls, casting shadows that made the hallways appear alive. Every panel, every wire, every pipe seemed to hum with silent energy. Alex paused, taking a deep breath. His heart raced, not from fear but from awe. This ship was alive in a way that no ordinary vessel could ever be. It had history, purpose, and power far beyond his comprehension. Yet here he was, a single human about to walk its halls as master of the legacy it carried. He began to explore slowly, touching consoles, examining panels, testing doors. Each step brought more wonder. The corridors seemed endless, opening into chambers of incredible size. He wandered into what appeared to be a control room, where screens, switches, and holographic displays stretched from floor to ceiling. A faint smell of aged metal and electronics filled the air, a reminder that this ship had seen centuries pass, traveling silently through the cosmos. As Alex walked, he imagined the battles the warship had faced. He pictured fleets of alien ships exploding in brilliant light, the roar of engines across the void, the orders shouted across massive bridges. And then he thought of himself, a human engineer who had repaired a few shuttles, now standing inside a machine that could control the fate of entire star systems. A sudden pang of doubt hit him. Could he really handle this? What if the ship expected more than he could give? What if he made a mistake that cost lives? He sat down on a raised platform, resting his hands on the console. He closed his eyes, trying to calm his mind. And then he remembered something his mentor once told him. Engineering is not about avoiding fear. It's about understanding it and using it to do what others cannot. With that thought, Alex rose. He decided that freezing in awe would not help him. He would take this inheritance one step at a time, exploring, learning, and mastering. If a human like him could understand this ship, he could honor the legacy it carried. The first chamber he entered after the control room revealed something even more extraordinary. The walls were lined with stasis pods, some containing cryogenic specimens, others holding machinery or advanced AI cores. Holographic maps of star systems floated above consoles, showing centuries of exploration and battles fought. The ship wasn't just a weapon, it was a record of history, of life, and of strategy across the galaxy. Alex reached out to touch one of the AI cores. The surface was smooth, almost warm, as if the ship recognized him. The thought sent a shiver down his spine. Was this ship waiting for him all these years? Had it been dormant, silent, and patient, knowing that one day he would arrive? Time passed unnoticed. Hours seemed like minutes as Alex wandered through the ship, examining every chamber, console, and corridor. Each discovery brought more awe. Some areas were clearly maintenance sections, designed for teams of engineers, while others were command zones, with screens and controls far beyond human understanding. Yet, despite the overwhelming scale, Alex felt a growing confidence. His skills, honed over years of studying ships and machines, allowed him to make sense of the chaos. And then, as he reached the edge of the bridge, he froze. The main control room was immense, with panels that stretched endlessly and holographic displays that mapped star systems in 3 dimensions. From here, the entire galaxy seemed within reach. Alex felt a shiver of fear and exhilaration. This was the heart of the ship. Every system, every weapon, every engine could be controlled from this single place. He could not move, not because he was unprepared, but because the reality of what he had inherited had finally settled on him. The weight of the responsibility pressed down like gravity. A single wrong decision here could ripple across the stars, and yet somewhere deep inside, Alex felt a spark of determination. This was not just a machine. This was a legacy, a gift, and a challenge, and he had been chosen to face it. Alex took a deep breath, steadying his hands. He would step forward one moment at a time. He would explore, learn, and grow into the role he had never imagined. And above all, he would honor the life and work of the ancestor who had left him this incredible inheritance. The warship waited, silent, immense, and alive, and Alex Morgan, human engineer, froze at the threshold, knowing that the moment he stepped forward, his life, and perhaps the galaxy, would never be the same again. He raised his foot, heart pounding, hand trembling, and stepped fully onto the bridge. The sound of the ship's systems waking echoed around him, a low hum that vibrated through his chest. In that moment, everything changed. Alex was no longer just an engineer. He was the captain of a legend, the inheritor of power that could shape the stars. And yet, as he looked out at the infinite darkness of space through the massive viewports, he realized that all was only the beginning. Alex Morgan stood on the bridge of the massive warship, heart still racing from the moment he had first stepped inside. The hum of dormant systems now filled the air, a soft vibration that made the walls pulse faintly beneath his hands. For a moment, he simply stared at the endless corridors and consoles, trying to take it all in. This ship was alive in a way no ordinary machine could be, and Alex felt like an intruder and a guest all at once. He took a cautious step forward, then another. His eyes roamed over the holographic star charts that floated above the main console. mapping entire star systems with pinpoint accuracy. Hundreds, maybe thousands of planets glimmered in the projection, each with its own data, history, and potential danger. The thought struck him: one small miscalculation, one wrong command, and he could affect life across the galaxy. The enormity of responsibility made him freeze. He had repaired small spacecraft before. He had solved engine malfunctions, rewired control panels, and even redesigned navigation systems. But this was on a scale he had never faced. A humbler engineer would have turned back, but Alex felt a strange mixture of fear and exhilaration. He needed to explore the ship, to understand it, to learn what he had inherited. As he wandered deeper into the corridors, he noticed the scale even more. The hallways seemed endless, branching off into maintenance rooms, storage areas, and sections labeled with alien alphabets he could not read. Pipes the size of skyscrapers ran along the walls and ceiling. Some sections appeared damaged, but most were in pristine condition, as if preserved by time itself. He passed rooms filled with cryogenic pods, some empty, some containing faintly glowing life support readings. He realized the ship had carried beings far older and more advanced than humans. Alex's mind swirled with possibilities: diplomats, warriors, scientists. Each pod held stories he could never imagine. One room stood out, a massive chamber lined with holographic terminals. As Alex approached, the holograms flickered and a soft voice spoke. "Welcome, Alex Morgan, command acknowledged." He jumped back, heart pounding. What are you?" he whispered. "I am the ship's artificial intelligence. I monitor all systems, maintain operational readiness, and assist the captain in decision-making," the voice replied calmly. It was not mechanical. It had tone, personality, and a subtle warmth. Alex felt a mixture of relief and awe. The AI was not threatening. It seemed friendly in its own way. I'm the captain now," he said, unsure if he was stating a fact or asking a question. "Yes, you have inherited the ship. Your authority is recognized. Operational protocols require your confirmation," the AI responded. Alex swallowed hard. This was no longer hypothetical. He was officially in command. The weight of it pressed down on him, but a small spark of confidence began to grow. He could do this. He had to. He spent the next few hours wandering, learning, and observing. The AI guided him through sections of the ship, explaining systems, functions, and history. Alex learned that the warship had been built centuries ago by his ancestor, a legendary human engineer who had traveled the stars, fought wars, and brokered peace. The ship had survived countless battles, repaired itself in emergencies, and even saved civilizations from destruction. And now it awaited Alex. As he explored, Alex came across rooms filled with advanced weapon systems. Turrets and energy cannons were far larger and more complex than anything he had ever studied. Yet instead of fear, he felt curiosity. His engineering mind immediately began analyzing the systems. How did they function? How were they powered? Could he interface with them safely? He spent the afternoon in the weapons bay, running diagnostics, learning the interface. The AI explained each system in detail, and Alex was amazed at how intuitive yet advanced everything was. Even so, he knew he had to be careful. One wrong command could trigger catastrophic results. He realized that this ship was not just a weapon. It was a tool for survival, protection, and, if misused, destruction. After leaving the weapons bay, Alex found a lounge area. It was enormous, with a ceiling that seemed to vanish into the darkness above. Seats were arranged around long tables, and holographic projectors could display the universe in incredible detail. He sat down, exhausted from the hours of exploration, and looked out through a viewport. The galaxy stretched before him, stars twinkling against the blackness of space. Alex felt a strange sense of insignificance. Here he was, a single human, holding the fate of countless systems in his hands. Yet at the same time, he felt connected. This ship was not just steel and circuits. It was a bridge between him and the larger universe. He remembered stories his grandmother used to tell him, tales of explorers, engineers, and adventurers who had shaped history. He realized that he was standing in the footsteps of such people, facing a challenge that no ordinary human had ever encountered. And for the first time in his life, he felt truly alive. As night, or what counted as night aboard the ship, fell, Alex wandered into the medical bay. It was filled with advanced healing machines, some capable of regenerating tissue, others of stabilizing critical injuries. He realized that the ship could support life in ways he had only read about in textbooks. The realization was humbling. This was not just a warship. It was a sanctuary, a home, and a fortress. Later, he came across a library chamber. Holographic books, logs, and star charts floated in midair, waiting to be accessed. He began reading the ship's logs, discovering tales of battles fought, planets saved, and civilizations preserved. Each entry revealed the dedication and ingenuity of his ancestor. Alex felt a growing responsibility to live up to that legacy. Hours turned into days as he explored every corner of the ship. He learned how to start the engines, how to manage power distribution, and how to operate the navigation systems. Even with the AI's guidance, it was a daunting task. The sheer size of the ship meant that a single mistake could take hours or even days to correct. But Alex's determination never wavered. He reminded himself he was an engineer. Learning, analyzing, and problem-solving were his strengths. One afternoon, as he inspected the main engine room, he noticed a strange glow coming from a hidden compartment. Curiosity overcame caution, and he approached. Inside, he found a control panel unlike any other. The symbols were unfamiliar, yet the AI explained their function. A hidden system capable of monitoring distant star systems, predicting threats, and even communicating across light years in real time. Alex felt a chill. This ship was more than a weapon. It was a sentinel, a protector of life across the galaxy. And now he was the one in command. That night, Alex sat on the bridge, staring at the galaxy outside. He thought about the responsibilities that awaited him. Neighboring systems would notice the activation of the warship. Some would fear it, others might see it as an opportunity. Every choice he made now had consequences far beyond anything he had ever imagined. But he also felt hope. For the first time, he realized that power was not just about dominance or fear. It was about using knowledge, skill, and courage to protect those who could not protect themselves. Alex knew he could rise to the challenge. He just had to take it one step at a time. The next morning, he continued his exploration, venturing into the ship's engineering core. The engines were massive, energy flows visible in glowing conduits that stretched across the chamber. Alex could feel the vibration of the ship through the floor as the engines hummed gently. He traced wires, checked circuits, and ran simulations with the AI's guidance. Each successful test gave him confidence, but the ship also tested him. Certain areas were locked, requiring problem-solving and creative thinking to access. Alex faced challenges he had never imagined, bypassing ancient security protocols, analyzing alien technology, and deciphering star maps older than human history. Each success made him feel more connected to the ship, more capable, more like a true captain. As the days passed, Alex began to see patterns in the ship's systems. He realized that the warship was designed not just for combat, but for strategy, diplomacy, and survival. It was a machine that required intelligence, judgment, and empathy. Alex understood that being its captain was more than operating consoles. It was about understanding the consequences of every action. By the end of the week, Alex had grown accustomed to the scale and complexity of the ship. He could navigate its corridors without hesitation, operate most systems, and even engage the AI in discussions about strategy and ethics. Yet, despite his growing mastery, he never lost the sense of awe. The ship was still immense, alive, and mysterious. There were secrets waiting to be discovered, challenges yet to be faced, and decisions that would shape the galaxy. And then, one day, while examining a star chart, Alex noticed something unusual. A hidden signal, faint but unmistakable, coming from a distant, uncharted system. The AI confirmed that it was a communication from a long-lost fleet, possibly carrying knowledge or technology of immense value. Alex's heart raced. This was the first real mission the warship had ever presented him. A chance to prove himself, to honor his ancestor, and to step fully into the role he had been given. He paused, looking at the massive viewport. The stars stretched endlessly before him, and he realized that he was no longer just an engineer exploring a machine. He was a captain, a guardian, and a human standing at the threshold of greatness. Alex smiled, feeling a mix of fear, excitement, and determination. The galaxy awaited him, full of challenges and wonders. And he was ready to face it all. After days of careful exploration, Alex Morgan began to feel a stronger connection with the warship. No longer just a stranger walking through an ancient machine, he now understood the rhythms of its systems. He could sense the hum of the engines through the floors, feel the pulse of power through the conduits, and even predict the flow of energy to different sections. Yet, even with his growing confidence, a sense of responsibility pressed heavily on him. This was not a simple machine to repair or tinker with. It was a living, breathing vessel capable of shaping the fate of entire star systems. That morning, Alex decided it was time to begin activating the ship fully. Until now, he had only powered systems partially, exploring and learning. But the galaxy would not wait for him to be ready. The distant star systems would notice the warship's presence, and its sheer power could attract attention, both good and dangerous. He needed to bring the ship to life and understand how it functioned as a complete unit. He started in the engine core. The room was immense, the walls lined with conduits glowing a soft blue. Energy flowed through massive turbines, and the hum of the reactors was like the heartbeat of the ship itself. Alex studied the control panels, tracing circuits, adjusting regulators, and monitoring power distribution. The AI guided him with calm precision, explaining how each engine module affected the ship's speed, stability, and energy output. "Be careful with the primary reactor," the AI warned. "It has not been engaged at full capacity in over a century." Alex nodded, his hands steady despite the tension. He had learned to trust his engineering instincts, but the stakes here were higher than anything he had faced. With a careful series of commands, he brought the reactor online. A low vibration ran through the floor, stronger than before, and the engines pulsed with life. The hum grew louder, filling every corridor, echoing in a way that reminded Alex of the power contained within this immense vessel. Once the engines were stable, he turned his attention to the defensive systems. The weapons array stretched for kilometers along the hull, and each turret, cannon, and energy emitter required precise calibration. Alex ran diagnostics, checking targeting systems, power flow, and ammunition reserves. The AI assisted, explaining protocols and offering advice. Alex realized that the warship was not only a weapon, it was a guardian, capable of protecting civilizations, monitoring threats, and maintaining peace if used wisely. As he tested the shields and energy barriers, a subtle alert appeared on one of the consoles. The AI's voice broke the silence. "Captain, external sensors have detected movement in nearby space. Unknown vessels are approaching." Alex froze. This was the first real external challenge he had encountered. The ships were small, fast, and difficult to track, but they were clearly observing the warship. Were they scouts, pirates, diplomats? He didn't know, but he realized immediately that hesitation could be dangerous. "Show me their trajectory," Alex commanded. The holographic display zoomed in on the approaching vessels, showing small silhouettes weaving through space. Alex studied their movements. They weren't aggressive, yet, but their curiosity or caution suggested they could become a threat if the warship acted unpredictably. He took a deep breath. "AI, run a simulation of all defensive maneuvers," he said. Within seconds, the ship's systems projected countless scenarios: evasive maneuvers, shield alignment, targeting, and power redistribution. Alex analyzed each one carefully. Unlike a battle simulator, these calculations had real consequences. A wrong decision could start a conflict, or worse, destroy the very civilizations he wanted to protect. After a few tense moments, Alex made a choice. He raised the shields just enough to show the warship was active, but did not target the approaching vessels. The unknown ship slowed, observing, before eventually retreating into the distance. Alex exhaled, realizing this small encounter had been his first lesson in diplomacy and restraint. He had not fired a shot, yet he had protected the ship and its surrounding space. Feeling a mixture of relief and accomplishment, Alex returned to his exploration. He wanted to understand every system of the warship, and there was one section that had drawn his attention since he first boarded. A hidden chamber revealed in the AI's records, deep within the ship, accessible only by bypassing multiple security protocols. Alex approached the hidden entrance. The walls shimmered slightly as he activated the bypass sequence. The AI guided him, offering cryptic hints but letting him make the final decisions. It was a test, not only of skill but of judgment. Alex worked carefully, tracing circuits, analyzing patterns, and solving intricate logic puzzles built into the ship's design. After hours of work, a massive door slowly slid open, revealing the chamber beyond. Inside, the room was breathtaking. At its center sat a crystalline console, glowing with an inner light. Panels of alien technology surrounded it, humming with quiet energy. Holographic star charts rotated above the console, highlighting regions of the galaxy Alex had never seen before. The AI's voice softened. "This chamber contains advanced technology, Captain. It can influence communications, detect threats, and even alter energy flows on a galactic scale. Its use must be guided with caution and wisdom." Alex approached the console, awed by its beauty and potential. He reached out, letting his fingers hover above the controls. For a moment, he felt fear. Such power in the hands of a single human was unprecedented. Yet he also felt the thrill of possibility. Here was a chance to make a real difference, to prevent conflicts, to protect innocent lives, to shape the galaxy responsibly. He activated a basic diagnostic. The console responded immediately, projecting data and visuals across the chamber. Alex realized he could monitor vast regions of space, track starships, detect hazards, and even communicate with distant systems instantaneously. The implications were staggering. Hours passed as he familiarized himself with the chamber. Each system he explored revealed new capabilities. He learned that the warship had been built not only for combat, but for observation, strategy, and protection. Alex began to understand the full extent of his inheritance. This ship was not simply a weapon. It was a responsibility, a guardian capable of acting as a shield for countless civilizations. Later, he returned to the bridge, contemplating the day's discoveries. The first challenge, activating the engines, testing the defensive systems, and fending off unknown vessels, had taught him valuable lessons. The hidden chamber had revealed even more. Alex realized that he could not command the warship recklessly. Every choice mattered, and wisdom was as essential as skill. That night, Alex remained on the bridge, studying star charts and monitoring nearby systems. He thought about the unknown fleet he had seen earlier. They might return. Other factions might notice the warship. And yet, he felt a sense of readiness growing within him. He was no longer just an engineer exploring a ship. He was a captain, capable of making decisions that affected the galaxy. As he contemplated his responsibilities, the AI spoke again. "Captain, I detect patterns in nearby star systems that suggest potential conflict. Several factions are in tension, and your presence could influence outcomes. Strategic deployment of the ship may prevent large-scale disputes." Alex nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. He would need to act carefully, not with aggression, but with strategy and foresight. His skills as an engineer, his patience, and his curiosity would all be tested in ways he had never imagined. The next morning, he began planning. He charted courses to monitor tense regions, ran simulations of various interventions, and devised ways to communicate with nearby factions without showing force. The warship's AI provided guidance, but the decisions were his. Alex realized that leadership required more than technical skill. It required judgment, foresight, and courage. As days passed, Alex became more confident. He tested new systems, monitored distant star systems, and began to understand the hidden potential of the warship. He discovered methods to stabilize unstable planets, improve communications between distant colonies, and even redirect energy to prevent natural disasters. Each success reinforced his growing belief that power was not simply about dominance. It was about using knowledge to protect and improve lives. And then, one day, the AI alerted him to a strange signal coming from a distant system on the edge of the galaxy. Unlike the previous fleet, this signal was deliberate and structured. It was a message, perhaps from beings who had once known his ancestor or who had been watching the warship for centuries. Alex's heart raced. This could be the key to understanding more about the ship's purpose and the legacy he had inherited. He prepared the warship for long-range travel, engaging engines, calibrating navigation systems, and running full diagnostics. The AI guided him through every step, but the responsibility was entirely his. As the engines roared to life, energy flowing through every conduit, Alex felt a profound connection to the ship. He was no longer just a human engineer. He was the captain of a living legend, carrying the weight of history and the potential to shape the future. As the warship glided silently through the void, Alex looked out through the massive viewports. Stars stretched endlessly, and he felt both small and infinite at the same time. This journey was just beginning. The hidden chamber, the approaching fleets, and the distant message were only the first tests. The galaxy awaited, full of mysteries, dangers, and opportunities. And Alex Morgan, human engineer turned captain, was ready to meet them all. Alex Morgan had spent weeks learning, exploring, and activating the massive warship. Every system, every engine, every holographic console was becoming familiar to him. The initial awe and fear had evolved into a steady confidence. He no longer hesitated when walking through the endless corridors, and the hum of the ship beneath his feet felt like a heartbeat he could understand. But with knowledge came responsibility. He now realized that being the captain of this ancient vessel was not just about exploration. It was about choices that could change entire star systems. That morning, as he prepared for another journey, the AI spoke in its calm, measured tone. "Captain, I have detected signals indicating potential conflict in multiple neighboring star systems. Your presence and decisions may prevent widespread harm." Alex nodded. This was the moment he had been preparing for, the test of his leadership. The ship's systems were fully operational, its engines ready for long-range travel, and its defensive systems calibrated to perfection. But strategy and judgment would matter more than raw power. He took a deep breath, focusing his mind. He was no longer just an engineer analyzing machinery. He was a captain, tasked with maintaining balance in a galaxy full of unknowns. He set a course toward the first system in tension. As the warship glided silently through space, Alex reviewed the star charts, analyzing the factions involved. There were disputes over resources, territories, and trade routes. Each faction had the potential to escalate conflict into a war that could devastate multiple planets. Alex realized that the warship was not simply a tool of combat, it was a platform for influence. How he used it could prevent destruction or, if mishandled, invite it. Upon arriving near the system, Alex activated the communication array. The holographic screens shimmered as signals were sent and received. Leaders of the warring factions appeared, their images projected clearly across space. Alex could sense their skepticism, their fear, and their curiosity. The AI guided him on protocol, but the words themselves came from Alex. He spoke carefully, calmly, and with authority, offering mediation, insight, and evidence of the warship's oversight capabilities. For hours, he worked tirelessly, analyzing information, proposing compromises, and ensuring that each decision minimized risk. Occasionally, small skirmishes broke out, but the warship's presence and Alex's interventions prevented escalation. The leaders gradually understood that he was not there to dominate, but to guide. By the time the system stabilized, Alex felt a deep satisfaction. The galaxy's balance had been preserved without violence, a testament to both his engineering mind and growing wisdom as a leader. The warship's hidden chamber, discovered earlier, proved invaluable during these negotiations. Using its advanced technology, Alex monitored distant fleets, intercepted signals of possible sabotage, and even predicted environmental hazards that could affect colonies. He realized that his ancestor had built the ship not only for battles, but to act as a guardian of civilizations. Alex began to see himself as part of that legacy, a protector, a mediator, and a strategist. Days passed, and Alex continued traveling between systems, resolving disputes and stabilizing regions. Each success reinforced his confidence, yet he never allowed arrogance to take root. He knew the galaxy was vast, unpredictable, and full of unknown challenges. His responsibility extended far beyond the systems he could see. Every choice, every action required careful thought. He often spent long hours on the bridge, studying star charts and logs, planning his next moves, and reflecting on the lessons each system offered. One evening, while observing a remote system at the edge of explored space, Alex noticed a strange anomaly. A star was exhibiting unusual energy fluctuations, threatening to destabilize nearby planets. Using the warship's advanced systems, he calculated the trajectory of the energy surge and devised a plan to stabilize the star's output. The AI assisted, projecting energy flows and testing simulations. With steady hands, Alex redirected energy from the ship's core to form a stabilizing shield around the star. The process required precise timing, constant monitoring, and adjustments at a level far beyond ordinary human capability. For hours he worked, watching the star's energy ripple and pulse. Finally, the system stabilized. The planets remained safe, and Alex felt a profound sense of achievement. This was more than engineering, it was protection, and he had succeeded. During the following week, Alex received unexpected transmissions from distant civilizations. Messages of gratitude, curiosity, and even warnings filled the ship's communication network. He realized that his actions were making a ripple across the galaxy. People were beginning to recognize the warship as a symbol, not of fear, but of hope. Alex felt humbled. He had never imagined that a human engineer like himself could inspire trust across star systems. Amid these successes, Alex also faced difficult moral decisions. Some factions sought to manipulate him, hoping to use the warship's power for personal gain. Others questioned his authority simply because he was human, untested in the traditions of galactic leadership. Each situation required careful negotiation, critical thinking, and sometimes restraint. Alex learned quickly that leadership was not about showing power. It was about understanding people, predicting outcomes, and making choices that prioritized life over victory. One day, the AI alerted him to a distress signal from an unexplored system. A colony was under threat from a natural disaster, a massive asteroid on collision course. Alex immediately prepared the ship to intervene. Using the warship's engines and energy redirection systems, he calculated a trajectory to intercept the asteroid, applying force with precision to alter its path. The process was delicate. One miscalculation could destroy the colony instead of saving it. For hours, he monitored the asteroid's movement, adjusting calculations as the ship's sensors relayed real-time data. Finally, with a careful application of energy, the asteroid's course shifted, safely bypassing the colony. Relief washed over Alex as the AI confirmed the success. He realized that the warship was not just a tool of observation or defense. It was a lifeline, capable of protecting life on scales previously unimaginable. Despite the successes, Alex never stopped learning. Each system, each mission, revealed new challenges. He explored previously sealed areas of the ship, discovering storage of advanced technology, rare resources, and historical archives. He traced the lineage of his ancestor, understanding not only their engineering genius, but also the moral vision that guided their actions. Alex realized that inheritance was more than ownership. It was a responsibility to continue a legacy of wisdom, courage, and protection. As the weeks turned into months, Alex began to embrace the full scope of his role. He organized the warship systems into efficient patterns, optimized energy use, and created protocols for monitoring distant sectors. He even established communication networks between civilizations, enabling faster cooperation, early warning systems, and emergency support. The galaxy was beginning to feel the presence of the warship as a stabilizing force, and Alex's reputation as a thoughtful, capable leader grew. One quiet evening, Alex walked through the bridge, reflecting on his journey. He remembered the first moment he had stepped on board, frozen by awe and fear. Now he moved with confidence, understanding the systems, predicting outcomes, and making decisions that could influence billions of lives. The human engineer had become a captain, a guardian, and a strategist. He paused at the main viewport, staring at the stars stretching endlessly before him. The warship was alive beneath his hands, humming with power, responding instantly to his commands. He realized that this journey was not about domination or conquest. It was about responsibility, empathy, and courage. He was entrusted not just with a ship, but with the lives and futures of countless beings across the galaxy. The AI spoke softly, almost reverently. "Captain, you have fulfilled the initial responsibilities with exceptional judgment. The galaxy recognizes your actions. Your ancestor would be proud." Alex allowed himself a small smile. Pride was not his goal. Understanding, protection, and growth were. Yet he felt a quiet satisfaction in knowing that he had risen to the challenge. He then turned his attention to the hidden chamber once again. The advanced technology within continued to offer possibilities: monitoring systems, predictive analysis, and long-range communication. Alex began planning further missions, understanding that the galaxy was vast and full of unknown challenges. But unlike before, he no longer felt fear or hesitation. He had the skills, the knowledge, and the wisdom to act responsibly. In the following weeks, Alex continued to explore, protect, and guide. He negotiated disputes, stabilized dangerous systems, and even prevented potential wars. Civilizations that had once feared the warship now saw it as a symbol of hope. Alex realized that his role was not about controlling the galaxy, but about enabling cooperation, understanding, and safety. Each decision required patience, thought, and careful judgment, and he learned to balance technology, diplomacy, and ethics in a way that honored the legacy he had inherited. Finally, one day, Alex sat alone on the bridge, reflecting on the journey. The galaxy stretched endlessly, filled with stars, systems, and countless possibilities. The warship had become a part of him, and he had become part of its legacy. He realized that his life had changed in ways he could never have imagined. He had begun as a simple human engineer, hesitant and uncertain. Now he was a captain, a protector, and a guardian of the galaxy. He smiled, feeling both humility and purpose. The stars would continue to challenge him, and the galaxy would continue to evolve. But he knew one thing for certain: he was ready for whatever came next. He had inherited a legend, and he had risen to meet it. The warship hummed beneath him, alive, vigilant, and ready. And Alex Morgan, the human engineer who had once frozen at the threshold, now stood confidently at the helm, prepared to guide the galaxy into the future.